Hello, guys, and welcome to the show this morning. Really glad to have you here. Today is Monday, December 10th, 2017. I'm going to tell you what. Brexit. Brexit. They're now talking. I just let's open up the charts right here. Take a quick look at this. It says that the UK could be trapped within the EU customs union indefinitely with no say over the rules by which it must abide, according to the Telegraph. What's this all about? This no Brexit, if this deal they have now doesn't pass through. Now, I have a simple question about this. Okay? You know what my question is? Is simply this. If the deal doesn't pass through, the Brexit deal doesn't pass through, okay? Will Theresa May actually allow it to happen where they get caught in this sort of limbo where they have no Brexit deal at all, and they stay in the European Union with no say over anything, and the bureaucrats in Brussels have complete control over England? Is that what they're going to do? Because if that's what they do, then it means, now this is just a simple question I have. Almost like the kid in the classroom, you know, who puts his hand up and he asks a simple question. But it's not really a simple question. I don't think it's a simple question. If that were to happen, doesn't that actually mean that the will of the people has not been accomplished by the government? If they actually if they have no Brexit, okay? The people voted for a Brexit. They voted to leave the European Union, all of the people. This means that government, in order to complete the request of the people, what the people voted for, that means that the government has to do what the people want. Now, this is just me. I'm just asking a question. Doesn't this mean that when the people vote for something and it's passed, a resolution is passed, that the government has to try to follow the will of the people? That would mean that the people voted for a Brexit or exit from the European Union. So if there is no exit from the European Union, if the boys in Brussels just keep the European Union, like it says here, trapped within the EU customs union indefinitely with no say over the rules by which it must abide, that means that they would have no say. They're a member, still be a member state, but with no vote. Is that what I'm reading here? That means that the people and their votes, like, it didn't count, like the government didn't accomplish the will of the people. Is that correct? Is that correct? That's my question. I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking a question about this. Because I always thought government was supposed to fulfill the will of the people. When the people voted, we want this done, then the government's, and they put it to a vote and it passes. Isn't the government supposed to accomplish that? Whatever it is, no matter how hard it is to do. Or are they just going to give up on it and say, okay, we're not going to give the people what they want. We're just going to do what we want. And what we want is to have no Brexit. You know, something I'm not getting here. I'm not understanding this thoroughly. Anyway, let's move on with the markets. But this is a big issue. There's some other awful big issues right now. Hey, you know what? Bitcoin is crashing right now while we speak. So there could be some lower buying opportunities coming in. Now, I don't think it's going to go too much below. Once it breaks through that psychological barrier and we get a 2 on the front of it, I think it's pretty much getting into oversold territory now. I think she's in oversold territory, deep into oversold territory. And I think once it gets a 2 on the front of it, it's really going to be deep oversold territory by that time. You know, let's take a look at cryptocurrency market capitalizations. We're only looking at $110 billion this morning. And we're looking at Bitcoin dominance 55.1%. So we got a high Bitcoin dominance. That's because we're in such a bear market that everybody is putting their strength in the Bitcoin rather than so much the altcoins. But I think they're making a mistake there. I think some of these altcoins are fantastic. And I think they're not only going to make it, but they're going to be really, really worth a lot of money in the future, you know, some of these altcoins. So one of my favorites is Litecoin. Always has been. I always loved Litecoin. Now, we're looking at Monero. I like Monero, too. I'm going to tell you, I really like Monero. $45 for a Monero is just absolutely a whole coin. $45 for a whole Monero coin. You know, that is really great. Let me see where Dash is here. Dash is only $70 for a whole coin. Can you believe that? Okay, now let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The Dow Jones is doing really good today on its comeback rally. It's only down 152 points on the day. That's doing really well today. This is a bright day. Well, it's just jumped down to 192 points down, but that's a good day for the Dow. The Dow's having a good day today, so in this world situation, I'll tell you, over the next few months, you might look back at today and say, hey, you know, that was a good day. That was a good day in the Dow. It only went down 192 points. I've said this before. If you go back on my shows, I said when the real fear is going to come into the market is when that Dow goes down below 20,000. That's when the real fear is going to enter in. The real fear hasn't come yet. If you take a look, you'll see cryptocurrency's not budging. In fact, it's fallen in price today. Look at silver price today. We're going to go to silver. And look, it's not up substantially. Shows the fear's not there yet. You know, it's not. They're not even running in. They're not running yet. They're not running with their hair on fire yet. It hasn't happened yet. The investors are just not getting it. They probably think that we're going to be in for some major corrections or whatever, and it's a great time to buy into the Dow is probably what they're thinking right today, you know. They just don't understand it. They don't get it, that everything's starting to crumble in the world at the same time. We've got the Brexit, that's crumbling. We've got Italy, that's crumbling. Can't they see it on the news? We've got yellow jackets, and it's spreading like it's growing like a weed, from what I understand. And I was looking on the internet this morning. I was trying to follow the story, and you know, you get your best news on the yellow jackets on YouTube. And from what I'm understanding, this thing is growing much faster than the mainstream media is letting on, and it's much worse than the mainstream media is letting on, you know. And evidently that's why Macron scurried off into a hole someplace where nobody could find him, you know, and then he showed up to thank the police, evidently. Where is he today? I haven't found out yet. Has he ran off into some other hiding spot, scurried underneath something, you know, where nobody can find him again? Or is he out in the open where everybody can see him? I just don't know. I don't know where he is today. I haven't followed that part yet. But I can tell you, that's just one of the problems. China's going through a slowdown that's unimaginable proportions right now. And the Chinese real estate market is going to start to pop because of this Chinese slowdown. And the Chinese real estate market, I could just laugh. I mean, our ship is sinking. We're on board the Titanic right now, and it's going to take a few more hours for the Titanic to sink. But you're hearing groaning sounds in the hull, and nobody's paying any attention to it, quite seriously. This world that we're in right now is getting ready to go into the biggest crisis you've ever seen in your lifetimes. And I think we're going to manage to get through maintaining power and police and everything else. I don't think essential services are going to get cut on us. But I think it's going to be really rough. I think it's going to be rougher than anything else you've ever experienced. But I think, hopefully, we won't descend into any sort of a Mad Max environment in this. I think that it's going to be more like the Great Depression rather than Mad Max. You know, that's my opinion. I mean, I might be wrong. I mean, there's an awful lot of very smart men out there who actually think that we're going to descend into some sort of a Mad Max world in this. I mean, I don't think that it's going to go to that, but I think that we're going to get out with maintaining essential services and everything, you know. But I think it's going to be rough. I think it's going to be somewhere between a cross between Weimar Germany and Zimbabwe and Venezuela. Some sort of a strange hybrid cross of a hyperinflation that we're in. And I think they're going to hang on to the dollar quite a long time into the hyperinflation. To tell you the truth, and they're going to use it for trade quite a long time into the hyperinflation when it's almost completely valueless. I think it's going to get, because it's the world reserve currency, you know. And let's take a look at gold today and see where gold's going. We see silver's down 3 cents. I got rattling away there about that. But anyway, gold's down $1.60. So it shows there's no real panic yet. You know, even though things are falling, they think it's all in perspective. They think everything's fine. Let's take a look at bonds and rates. We got an inverting yield curve here, and it looks to me like the way it's going, if it continues much longer in this direction, it won't take much longer really, because the 10-year's at 2.84%, and we got the 2-year like 2.71. You know, that 2-year is precariously close to the 10-year. You know, it's only a few basis points, 271 to 284. It's only like 9 basis points difference in price, and we got the 2-year rising, and we got the 10-year falling. So it could make up those few basis points today, and then we got a full inversion of the yield curve. You know, I mean, seriously, folks. That's just another one of, there's so many problems out there right now that a yield curve inversion is, I'm just like, it's nothing. I'm just like walking right by it like it's nothing. Because there's so many other bigger problems out there that I'm looking at. It's just like, oh, well, the yield curve's inverting, you know? I mean, just ridiculous. And oh, well, what's the stock market down now? Let's take a look now. Okay, now she's down 207 points. She's having a great day today. It's not really down 1,000 points, so it's a good day. Let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar index. 96.75. Well, you know, the dollar's showing strength, and I think the biggest reason why it's showing strength is they feel like there's nowhere else to go, so they're going into the dollar as a safe haven against what they see so far. So they're not that scared yet, and the ones that are getting a little bit itchy and antsy are going into the dollar. So they're selling off stuff like gold and silver and cryptocurrencies and buying into the dollar. They're selling off this and that and buying into the dollar, and we see the dollar is continuing to rise. Also, falling oil prices is actually helping the dollar. Well, did we take a look at the oil prices today? Oil prices down 116 on the day. 116, $1.16 on the day they're down. That's 2.2% down on the day. So oil prices are not recovering. Now, you know what? OPEC just came out and said, okay, we're going to cut 1.2 million barrels a day from production. Well, I don't see it here. Here we look like the price is still falling. I would think that an oil cut like that, a massive oil cut of 1.2 million barrels a day, for crying out loud, should drive the price back up to $60 anyway. And look, it's still falling. You know, I just don't get it. You know, the oil prices are falling. One of the reasons why is America has increased production tremendously with shale oil wells. Well, you know, that's not going to last either. You can do a study on something called the Red Queen. And what it basically means is that these shale oil wells, first off, they're very expensive to put in. And the second thing is is they don't last hardly any length of time before they need to be repumped out again. And the production decreases massively, so it's only a very short thing. They pop off, in other words. They call that the Red Queen. And they don't last. They don't have any lasting power. You know, they're good for a little while, for a year or two or whatever, but then they fall off rather quickly in how much oil that comes out of them. So what we can expect with this U.S. Shale oil production boom that's causing this boom in oil production is that it's not going to last very long. Don't look for it to last 10 years even. Ain't going to. It's going to drop off drastically at a certain point unless they inject a lot more liquidity into it. And the thing is when it does, then the Saudis are going to have the world by the whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I'm not allowed to say it on YouTube. Well, I am allowed to say it, but my video will be have a big X on it or whatever. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.